day. This is retired Fire Chief Paul Smith with Marin Fire History. And today we've got another episode with Mark Brown, who's the director of the Marin Wildfire Authority. And they do wildfire prevention all around Marin County. We have him on again. He'll give us a little update on the accomplishments of 2022 and looking forward in 2023 and how things are going. Well, good day, Mark, and thanks for joining me here on Marin Fire History.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And we definitely love to talk about what the MWPA is doing. And one of the things we've been talking about is the return on investment for our taxpayers. So for 22-23, that was our third year. And it feels like that we got a lot of momentum going, and we got a lot of our legs underneath us. JPA wide, so all across the entire jurisdiction, we have some really awesome projects going on. One of them is Chipper Days. And for us, we think that is one of the single largest returns on investment for our taxpayers. On average, a resident pays $200 a year. Well, Chipper Days is if you remove vegetation from your property and you need to get it hauled off of your property, that could be an expensive endeavor. And so if you sign up for Chipper Days, you leave the pile on the street and we'll come and pick up that pile. Well, that's about a $300 to $500 cost. So right there, you get an automatic return on your investment. JPA wide, we also have a grant program for residents for home hardening, and you can get up to $5,000 on home hardening and $1,000 up to $1,000 for defensible space. And I see just about every check that we go out, and I know that there's several retirees that are watching this, and actually some current firefighters that are watching this I've signed checks for. So good job, guys. I appreciate you getting your work done, and we're happy to throw some grant money your way to get that done. 396 grants were approved this year with close to $740,000 of money going out to residents. But what I think is important about the grant program is for every dollar that we're paying on these projects, the residents are paying $2 more. So it's amplifying our work. And that doesn't even count the work that's getting done because of our inspection program. 33,000 inspections last year. And those 396 grants doesn't even count the money or the residents on their own or spending. So we think there's through those programs, a lot of work is getting done on our properties. Then if we look at Novato and the project Novato has been working on, Novato has done an excellent job of working with their communities. And they have an additional grant program and an additional Chipper Day program that's been super successful. And their model has been to bring their communities together and have them rally around each other and get a lot of work done. What also Novato has done a great job of doing is they have lots of public parks right in the middle of their communities, and they have been doing fantastic work creating defensible space on the perimeter of those interior parks. And then we actually just had a community meeting in Novato last night because the Greater Novato Shaded Fuel Break, a 60-mile shaded fuel break going around Novato, has been planned. We've gone through the environmental compliance and it's been approved, and we're beginning the implementation of that project. They already had some shaded fuel breaks built into Novato. We're just going to tag on to those. So for fiscal year 22-23, the planning process and the implement was included in that. So we're rolling forward on that. Then moving down the San Rafael, San Rafael's done again a great job of community parks. And then they've had a network of shaded fuel breaks, not just one big giant project like the Greater Novato Shaded Fuel Break, but several smaller projects. And then they have a big planning project right now and for implementation of next year, and that's on Ridgewood up above the Mount Tam Cemetery and all the eucalyptus trees that are in there to start working on that hazard in there. Again, a great evacuation route planning. And last fire season, we had a fire above Dominican that was burning pretty aggressively until it hit some private residences where the residents had done D-space work after the inspection that they received. And the fire behavior dropped down. The firefighters got in, they were able to put the fire out. But quite frankly, the D-space work
Mhm.
But D-space work essentially stopped the fire and allowed the firefighters to get in there.
So that's a win-win for both
Yes.
firefighters and the residents. You actually proved that this works for us, and we know it works for us. But it's really good to see that in for our citizens to see that in action.
Yes, and we also reached out to the residents and let them know, hey, your work is why this fire did what it did. So great job. Then we get into Ross Valley, and I look at the Greater Ross Valley Shaded Fuel Break as the reason why the MWPA was built. The MWPA was driven to be able to get veg management projects that span multiple jurisdictions and get that done quickly and efficiently. So there's 11 different jurisdictions involved in the Greater Ross Valley Shaded Fuel Break. And from the time that we want to plan this, we scoped it out, we did the environmental compliance, to when we actually started doing work was 10 months.
Wow.
And that's through 11 jurisdictions.
Wow.
And so for fiscal year 22-23, we put $900,000 of MWPA money. And then we also received a CAL FIRE grant to the tune of $3.25 million.
Oh, wow.
It's a 3-year grant. So in year one, we spent $2.9 million and actually completed 1/3 of that 38-mile shaded fuel break. And we're convinced there's going to be fires that test it. We haven't had any fires test it yet, but we know that there will be. We're super happy with the results. And again, just a reminder, shaded fuel breaks aren't designed to stop the fire. It's designed to, as a fire is approaching, any embers that land in a shaded fuel break can't start new and emerging spot fires near our residences. And then it's going to slow down the fire spread. It's going to decrease the intensity of the fire. It gives our residents more time to evacuate, and then they evacuate under safer conditions. And then our firefighters actually put the fire out. And we're talking about removing head-high Scotch broom for much of that shaded fuel break. And we know that we're not having firefighters cut line and pull hose through head-high Scotch broom under fire conditions. So I think we're going to make a big difference there. And then we continue with the evacuation route work as well. Then Southern Marin has really been focusing on improving their notification system through the long-range acoustical devices, or LRAD. They're sirens that actually deliver voice communications. LRAD doesn't work great everywhere, but in the bowl of Mill Valley that acts like an amphitheater, the LRADs actually work really well. So, and we know that notifications when cell sites go down can be limited. So that's why Mill Valley's been exploring the LRAD, and then some of the other jurisdictions are going to start exploring LRAD as well. But then Mill Valley's also, while it doesn't have a huge shaded fuel break network like Greater Ross Valley or Novato, they've got chunks of fuel breaks, whether it's on Edgewood, near Ralston. And then one of our bigger projects was a shaded fuel break all around the Marin City community. So we've got a lot of great work going on down there. And then when we get out into Muir Beach and the rest of West Marin, we did an evacuation route clearing in Muir Beach right along Sea Cape. And it was a great project. 20-foot high brush we were removing. And so that went really well. That was in partnership with National Park Service. It was on Golden Gate National Recreation property. Then Stinson Beach put a shaded fuel break along the western, or excuse me, the eastern side of Stinson Beach on the east side of Highway 1, right along the back sides of their properties along the GGNRA. Again, a great partnership with GGNRA there. And then throughout all of West Marin, we've amplified our evacuation route clearing projects. Started in Paradise Ranch Estates, Drake Fuse Drive has got some awesome work that we were able to get done. The challenge with West Marin, quite honestly, is the coastal zone and the level of compliance that we have to go through to get projects done in the coastal zone. Not just how much work it is to get the permit, but how much money. And that's one of the things that we're working on at the state level. It's literally 500% more expensive to do the compliance in the coastal zone than it is anywhere else in Marin. So there is a tremendous groundswell statewide to increase the speed at which we can get permits in the coastal zone, and also decrease the costs for the environmental compliance. And so NWPA is working with other agencies throughout the state to help improve that. For next fiscal year 23-24, we just approved the budget, and we created what we were calling priority funding. And that is, instead of funding each of the 5 zones we have to the level of the revenue that they generate, we actually have a clause in the JPA language that allows us to have the zones be funded to 80%, so that we can actually put more funding in another zone that may be a high priority zone. And so with the acknowledgement that West Marin has higher environmental costs, we were able to create priority funding to get some more money into the West Marin, so that we can actually get more tangible projects completed in West Marin. And another thing is that as we do our work, we're creating infrastructure, and we have to maintain that infrastructure. So we envision that when we started, new and emerging projects here, maintaining old projects here. And now we're starting to see that scale tip, where we actually have 101 existing projects that we are approved for 23-24, and 22 new projects. So you can see that scale has tipped. So we're starting to maintain what we built, so it doesn't all just come back and go away. We lost our investment. And I figure by years 5 to 7 of the MWPA, it's going to be very few new and emerging projects, and it will be just maintaining what we have. And then we'll go after grant funding for the new and emerging projects. But the Greater Nevada Shaded Fuel Break, we're going to be hitting full speed ahead for implementation. Nevada Fire is also looking at LRAD for their area. San Rafael, I guess the biggest project we'll be doing there is that Ridgewood project. We're doing the environmental compliance this year, implementation next year. Greater Ross Valley has continued to pound away at that Greater Ross Valley Shaded Fuel Break. Southern Marin is expanding their notification network, and also the series of shaded fuel breaks they've been working on. And then West Marin, our big project for West Marin is the design, scoping, and environmental compliance of a network of shaded fuel breaks around each of the communities. So 23-24 will be the planning phase of it, and then 24-25 will be implementation.
And like you said, Mark, once the shaded fuel break is initially made, the maintenance costs have got to be a lot less than the initial costs.
Very much less.
So it's going to be less work and less money to maintain. Now, question for you. You said the expense in West Marin is increased because of the coastal zoning compliance. When you go through and create a shaded fuel break in West Marin, let's say, do you need to re-permit to do the maintenance 3 or 4 years later?
No, the way we've been designing our projects, and we go through the environmental compliance, we include the maintenance in the compliance process, so we don't have to do it again.
Oh, good.
But
well,
biological.
I applaud you for the work. I mean, you've had a couple of really good years with a lot of really good work getting done, and we appreciate that and appreciate you getting your update. Do you have anything else for us?
Well, we are just continuing with our defensible space evaluations, and one thing I want to talk about is what's coming up in the near future is the safer from wildfire regulations with the California Department of Insurance.
Okay, why don't you touch base with us on that?
Yeah, so what is happening is that there's the California Department of Insurance has told the insurance companies, if residents meet any one of these 12 items that are on their list, whether you're part of a Firewise community, you have a Class A roof, you have done a good job with Zone 0, you have non-combustible fence connecting to your home, stuff like that, that you're actually eligible for a discount. So all of the insurance companies have been putting in what their discount will be, and they have to submit that by December. So starting in January of 24, we're actually going to be able to send our residents an email or a letter that says, hey, by the way, after our inspection, we notice that you qualify for a discount on this item, and this item, or maybe it's all 12 items. And then they'll be able to take that report and go to their insurance company, and get a discount on their insurance. So again, another return on investment for our residents.
Okay, Mark, Paul had to go away. This is Dan. And thank you so much for being with us today. And more than that, thank you for the phenomenal job you're doing there in Marin. You're setting an example for the rest.
We're right. It's going well. We got all of our member agencies are the ones doing all the work. We're just helping them.
Well, we're very proud of you. Thank you so much. And we hope you'll come back again.
All right. Take care. See you, Dan.
Thank you, Mark. Good day.